Welcome to the Poe Underground Podcast. I am your host, DK McKenzie. Today I have two spoken word pieces that I'm going to demonstrate for you guys. The first one is called Slow Regret. Interestingly enough, this piece has sat on my computer since 2011, according to the timestamp. And essentially, I haven't added anything to it at all. It has multiple tracks of music. Everything's already been laid out. I haven't added a single thing to it. I was very tempted to start adding a lead guitar and maybe some rhythm tracks to it, but I think it's pretty complete as is. The voice was actually recorded also in 2011. Normally, I would probably re-record the voice part, but it's a spoken word piece. It was intended to be spoken word. It's actually the very first spoken word thing I ever conceived of, and I find it very interesting because this project, the Poe Underground, is a spoken word music project, as you know. However, in 2011, I think it was more of an experimental idea, a curiosity of what would it be like to do something where it's not singing, there is not really a melody, and it's just speech, maybe not even really poetry, and something else, something in between a song and a poem. And that's what I came up with here. If I were to approach this now in 2023, I would definitely look for a poem and apply it to the music. But so again, this is not a poem, and the lyrics aren't bad. I'm pretty happy with it. I guess I had wanted to do something somewhat political, but it's also a vague message, nothing really specific. So without further ado, let's launch into this song. It's called Slow Regret.
Can you handle the injustice? You see it every day. When you leave your home, you're assaulted by the disgraced. Do you see them pray? They're afraid like you. They hide their fangs well like you. There's hell all over the avenue. There's trouble behind just out of view. There's negligence and ignorance. Mixed together you get impotence. A stagnant and inert neighborhood, decadent scars with slow regret. Neglect the president. A quick descent, slow regret.
This second piece is called The Harlot's House. It is a poem written by Oscar Wilde, the novelist / poet. He wrote, The Picture of Dorian Gray is his most popular piece. The background music, another piece of music that has sat on my computer for many years. I think these are probably the only two pieces of music that are pretty much complete. Again, this is something I didn't add anything to it. To me, it actually sounds like a complete piece, especially with the poetry reading there. The music is interesting because I believe I originally intended to use this as a composer demo, and there was going to be a lot of strings and orchestral arrangements with it. The guitar was going to be the lead and is the lead instrument in the song. So going back and listening to it after all these years, I don't remember. There's two distinct synth tracks that are holding the music underneath, and I completely forgot that those were there. I just remember the guitar part and maybe some of the percussion tracks that are going on there. So listening to it, to me, it sounds complete. I mean, obviously, I could go on and on, for ages, really, adding strings and adding this and that. But again, as someone had once said, good art is abandoned, never finished. So I am trying to complete this, and I'm going to present it as a complete track. So here we go. This is the Harlot's House. I hope you enjoy it. We caught the tread of dancing feet. We loitered down the moonlit street and stopped beneath the harlot's house. Inside, above the din and fray, we heard the loud musicians play the Treues Liebesherz of Strauss. Like strange mechanical grotesques, making fantastic arabesques, the shadows raced across the blind. We caught the ghostly dancers spin to sound of horn and violin, like black leaves wheeling in the wind, like wire-pulled automatons. Slim silhouetted skeletons went sidling through the slow quadrille, then took each other by the hand and danced a stately saraband. Their laughter echoed thin and shrill. Sometimes a clockwork puppet pressed a phantom lover to her breast. Sometimes they seemed to try and sing. Sometimes a horrible marionette came out and smoked its cigarette upon the steps like a live thing. Then turning to my love I said, "The dead are dancing with the dead. The dust is whirling with the dust." But she heard the violin and left my side and entered in. Love passed into the house of lust. Then suddenly the tune went false. The dancers wearied of the waltz. The shadows ceased to wheel and whirl. And down the long and silent street, the dawn with silver sandaled feet crept like a frightened girl. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Poe Underground podcast. Until next time, this is DK McKenzie signing off.